Good morning, everyone. Thank God it's Friday, and thank you for joining us on the program. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. We are continuing our conversation as we get preparations ahead the much talked about 2023 general election. And we're just hearing some more official statements from the APC and the PDP this morning. The All Progressives Congress Caretaker Committee is saying that it has not discussed or reached a zoning decision and that people are just flying what will favor their interest. On the other side, PDP is also saying that the party hasn't zoned its 2023 presidential ticket yet and that it's going to make wild consultations with all stakeholders. So it's the pre-election year and we expect to hear the decision and the direction that the parties, the political parties are going to take in this regard, particularly the presidential ticket for the 2023 general election. This morning, however, we're continuing our conversation as regards the role that women have played in Nigerian politics and what we expect to see play out in the coming year. We began yesterday speaking with the vice chairman of one of the local government areas here in Lagos. And this morning, I'll be joined from our Abuja studio by Honorable Stella Okotetete, who's the national woman leader of the All Progressives Congress and the woman representative of the APC Caretaker and Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee. I also have here with me in the studio a journalist and editor-in-chief of the franktalknow.com, Dr. Olabisi Deji-Folutile. Good morning. What do I say now? I almost said gentlemen.
No problem. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies, and thank you for finding time to come.
Thank you.
Glad to see you. Honorable Okotetete, good morning. We probably will get to her in the course of the conversation, but let's begin from here. There are some very amazing figures here showing that even though Nigeria as a country has adopted a national gender policy, the figures are still very low when you look at women's participation in politics. In 2019, 13% of candidates were women. If you look at the Senate, just about 7 out of 108, 22 out of 360 in the House of Reps. What do you think is responsible for these very, very discouraging figures?
Well, I think even now we need to also emphasize the fact that the figure is not only bad, it's even low, even when you compare it with West African region, which is about 15%. Nigeria has about 6.7% averagely of women participation in politics, where a lot of factors are responsible for this, in spite of all the moves that have been made since the Beijing affirmative order prescribing 30% participation for women, and even our own national gender policy, which is 35%, as you rightly mentioned. But I think the factors include the patriarchal nature of our society, which seems to ascribe more importance to the male gender. You see, it is a culture thing, and it has been there for over the years. We are just trying, women are just trying to get over that particular cultural inhibition, and I think it's one of the major factors. You still see that a lot of women, even when they are qualified, they don't want to really put themselves forward for this kind of positions, because you'll be surprised that in this Nigeria, some men don't feel comfortable even when they are being led by women. It reflects in organizations, it reflects in companies. It's just that, you know, in such corporate institutions.
How widespread is this culture with the evolution of you know feminism? The call for equality seems to be louder now than before. The director of news here is a woman. I mean, some of us are, I mean, it sounded strange to me, though, that you're saying that some are not comfortable being led by women. Is it something we're still reading in the book, or is this a reality for many people across Nigeria?
Yeah, I think it's still a reality. You see, also, I was for example, editor Saturday Punch, and of the time I became editor, out of the 3 editors, 2 of us were actually female, which was the first time in the history of Punch Nigeria Limited, to show you that it's not as if it is that easy. But you may think that a lot of women are actually occupying roles of responsibility. We have so many female heads of banking institutions, for example. But that is not to say that the men folk generally accept it. You see, I was about to say that in corporate organizations, when you are a man and being led by a woman, you should understand that you don't play any rough. You know that this is it. This woman is my boss. It's a woman boss, and you have to obey and respect. But how many corporate institutions do we have in Nigeria, for example? We still have government institutions. We still have, for example, even here in Nigeria now, you know, we have issues with Child Rights Act, domestication of this in different states of Nigeria because of one provision or the other that stipulates certain things or the other that, you know, they think clash with the culture of such society. So it's, yes, we have feminism movements and the rest. They are even trying. Perhaps that is why we are even seeing some of these things and we are talking about it. But then we have not got to where we should be.
All right, let's take this conversation to Abuja. Honorable Stella Okotetete is standing by. She's the APC National Woman Leader. Thank you for joining us this morning. Last year, the National Executive Committee of the APC dissolved the NWC and in place constituted a caretaker committee. There are 13 members on that list and only one woman who, of course, is the woman representative. I've heard some say if a man could have represented women, maybe a man would have made that list. Are you comfortable with the design? Because much of the poor representation we're talking about stem out from political systems and structures. Do you agree?
I totally disagree because the previous speaker had also highlighted that it's a cultural thing and it's a societal issue. But on the caretaker, yes, I'm the only woman, and that's why we're coming together tomorrow, next week to, you know, speak with one voice and also change our strategies as women, so we could have more women represent us across, you know, all spheres of government and also in party politics. So far, so good. I can tell you that we've been able to change the narrative. Yes, I'm one woman in the caretaker, but throughout all our congresses, from the wards to the local government and the state, we've been able to see that we have more women represent us at all levels of the party organization. And so right now we have a minimum of 3 to 7 women in each of these various categories that earlier mentioned, representing women. We hope that when we go into our convention, we'll be able to have more women also represent us. And going into 2023, we'll definitely be speaking to the society, speaking to all the cultural barriers to see that we have more women, you know, represent Nigeria, and attract development for our nation.
Let's talk about affirmative action, or what people call quota system. Is that known to your party's constitution, or what is your strategy of driving the numbers up for the women folk? Like I said, it's a society thing. Nigeria is part of the Benin Union, and so they accepted the affirmation. We're part of it. On the party level, yes, we believe so much in it, and that's why the chairman of our party, Mai Mala Buni, His Excellency Mai Mala Buni, actually approved for us to have the National Women's Conference. It's the first of its kind. It's giving us a platform for women to come together and speak with one voice. Yes, the opportunities are there, but you know, in politics, positions are not given to you a la carte. You know, women have to come out in their numbers. We have to change our strategies. We have to woo. We have to lobby. We have to work together to see that we can get more women elected into various offices across all tiers, from the council level up to, you know, the National Assembly, and also
advocate for more female representations in the executive positions. I can tell you that the APC has actually done well, and there's room to do more, and that's why we're here at this time to forge a new course and actually get stakeholders to address and accept our new proposals.
I'll get back to you in a minute, Honorable. Let me ask Dr. Deji-Folutile about the issue of affirmative action. We've seen it work in countries like Rwanda and South Africa. As a matter of fact, in Rwanda, over 50% of political positions are now held by women. But should women wait to be given, 33%? Should they wait to be handed the positions, or should we, because after all, they say that we shouldn't put a woman there just because she's a woman. We should put her there because she has the capacity to do the job. If that is the case, should the woman wait to be given the positions?
No, I don't think so. Even though when it comes to men, the society does not really talk about capacity that much. That does not make it right. But however, as for women, I don't think we have to wait. But there is also a challenge because of the factors that prevent women from actually participating in politics in our own climb, for example. For example, we know that here we still talk, money still plays a major role in politics in this part of the world. And if you look at it, we can see that men appear to have that economic power more than women. So in that situation, we may be talking about a quota system, for example, for the women. I know that some political parties actually do some waivers for women, like they don't pay for their nomination forms and all of that. But we know that politics here goes beyond collecting the form. Even after election, we have cases of post-election litigations. How many women can actually afford to pay for such litigations? So that is why I'm thinking that in as much as women shouldn't wait to just be given the positions on the platter of gold, the society also needs to make some to give in some things for women because of our own peculiarity in this part of the world, like maybe a quota system. Now, if we now have that quota that says that, okay, if in the House of Reps, for example, out of 300 and something members, let's have at least maybe 100 females. The political parties will put that into consideration, and the Independent National Electoral Commission will also be there to enforce that this happens. When we have such a situation, then it is now left for the political parties to look for capable women among their foes to push forward for this.
The idea that came from the House of Reps last year was to add 111 seats for women. That would raise the figure to some 477. Do you subscribe to that?
No, they don't have to increase. We already have a bogus system that we pay so much to maintain. They don't have to increase it. Among them, let them do it in such a way that the women folk that will form parts of the members of the House of Representatives, the figure will be higher than what it is currently. And also, if this happens, I think also that the women that are already in politics, they will be able to mentor the younger ones to also join, younger people that have the capacity to do a lot of things. I don't think that we don't really have women with capacity, just the interest. And if the women folk is sure that, okay, the society wants them, I want to believe that more of them are likely to come out to participate in politics.
Honorable, what do you think? Are women waiting to be given, or they now have the capacity to take it, particularly ahead the big one in 2023?
In terms of capacity, women have the capacity to do whatever we're called out to do. So capacity is not the problem. And For 2023, I'm aware that on our platform, the All Progressives Congress, we already have our women in their numbers coming out to contest for 108 positions or seats at the National Assembly. We've also identified the need to support the young women. And so as a party, we have a platform that is also wooing and identifying very young women and building their interest for leadership as well as politics, the Young Progressive Women's Forum. I believe that with the outcome of our Congress by next convention, will definitely be seeing women represent women and represent the party at the party level. And going into the elections, APC will definitely be supporting women across board, to vie for various positions in 2023. We are ready. That's why we're coming in next week to speak with one voice, identify the issues. We agree that there are obstacles, there are barriers, and yes, we're working on forging out new ways and strategies to overcome those barriers. And I can tell you that our women, especially the progressive women of Nigeria, are very well positioned, very experienced. We're also building capacity across all divides, to see that when it's time for the elections in 2023, this is a pre-election year, we are ready. And we're not going to be, served, but we're going to go into the field with the support of our men, because the progressive men also in the party are also very encouraging. With the support of our men, I'm sure we'll definitely have the numbers and would obviously, by the grace of God, increase the 35% affirmative action order.
You launched the Digital Academy for Women last year. What was that about and what progress have you made? Honorable, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm asking about the Digital Academy that was launched last year for women. What was it about and what form of progress have you made with it?
Because, like I told you, we did the diagnostics of why our women are actually, the largest voters, but we are not actually, being recognized in terms of political positions or being elected on various platforms. And so with the support of the national chairman, the interim chairman, the critical committee chairman of our party, His Excellency Mimala Buni, he approved that we set up a digital academy. It's actually the first in the entire Africa. I'm not surprised because we're actually the largest party right now, the ruling party in Africa. The platform is designed to educate, empower our women across board. We have various courses, online courses on the platform, from leadership to entrepreneurship, skill development, mental health therapy, and all of that. We identify these are issues that we need to deal with going into the elections. And so we're targeting 20 million subscribers. It's also on Google platform as well as the Apple platform. So even if you're online or offline, you can actually go on the progressive courses for our women. With this, we are sure that we'll be able to have more women participate in politics and also break the barriers of poverty, unemployment, which is one of the tools that, has actually limited the participation of women actively in politics. And so this platform is actually addressing most and almost all the barriers that we've identified, culturally and otherwise. So we are hopeful. Ongoing right now, we have over 1.2 million subscribers. We're going to officially, the First Lady of the country, Her Excellency Aisha Buhari, is going to officially unveil it to the entire world at our conference next week. And we're sure in the next couple of months we'll have over 20 million subscribers, and obviously expand it so we can actually also encourage the younger generation, men and youths, to also be part of this new initiative. You agree with me, COVID has changed all our activities. And so real-time learning virtually or on online platform is the way to go. And I'm sure we'll definitely be making that impact.
Let me stay with you for another minute, Honorable, because I heard you say your party is the biggest on the continent. Big party, big problem. Since you're a member of the APC Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, perhaps you can tell us what's the difficulty with the National Convention?
We don't have any difficulty. So I think you have to actually ignore some of these speculations and rumors. I gave a proverb recently at a forum. I said, nobody goes to a tree without fruits, and nobody will sit under a tree without shade. The APC is all it's actually the driving force right now that is changing and developing our country, Nigeria, and so it's bound for us to have one or two, interests or issues, but they are adequately being addressed. We have a reconciliation committee that is on top gear, reconciling all factors. Our convention is going to happen. It's something that the Caretaker Committee is meeting very soon to fix an accurate date and also hold it. So we're not having problems holding it. The Caretaker Committee is actually on top of its game to see that the convention comes and the positions that are available are filled by all tiers, all progressives, including the youth and the women. So we're on top of what we're doing, and I would want to say it categorically that we have no issues with our convention. We are planning and being able to...
Can you confirm, Honorable,
and ensure that
if the convention is still slated within the projected timing of February this year?
Yes.
You're saying that the convention will hold in February?
There's already a timetable out for February, so we're working with that.
All right, we'll get back to more of that in a short while. Doctor, there's a lot of talks about what women can do just by design, by virtue of them being a woman. And it becomes a little bit complicated to understand that if both a man and a woman are equally qualified, are there things that you would naturally suggest that the woman would do better by natural design of being a woman? Is that not also some form of not being, sensitive or being gender sensitive? Are we going to agree together and say that let us give roles based on capacity, not based on gender? Because I've heard people say, yes, I know a man and woman can be both qualified, but a woman would do a better job just because it's a woman. How accurate is that?
Well, I'm not sure I really got you well, because in one of your questions you're asking that why can't we just give people roles to perform based on capacity?
Exactly. So I'm saying if there are two people, gunning for a role and they are both equally qualified, so there are certain school of thoughts that would say that by being a woman, by the nature of a woman, the design of a woman, she is more qualified than the other gender
to occupy that particular role. Well, if they are both qualified, I think for me, I think we should go for capacity. We should go for qualification, right? And if I don't even know some of the roles we are talking about.
We're looking at 2023 general election, for instance. Somebody wants to run for the House of Reps or the Senate or even the presidency, and we're saying, okay, both of them are qualified, but let's try a woman because she's likely going to do better.
Well, yeah, fine. Why not?
What's the argument behind that?
Why not? Why not? Men have been doing it. For me, that would be the argument. Men have been doing it. Okay, men were qualified. They've been running it, and we've been seeing the results. So if women are also equally qualified, and we allow them to also run it, based on the fact that, you see, not because I'm a woman, the truth of the matter is that even the men folk, they will agree that women are more intuitive, women are clearly more patient, women are clearly hardworking. You may want to argue it
than
out.
men.
Than men. And I tell you the truth, because they are more focused. The distractions for women are far lower than that for men. And you will understand, even the nature makes men, if I have to put it that way, because there are lots of responsibilities bestowed on a man simply because he's a man. And which women, of course, women have their own responsibilities too and all of that, but women are also multitasking. So there are so many things about women that can actually work for them and make them to excel in positions of leadership as well as the men, and if not better in certain circumstances. So for me, it's not about just giving a woman the position because she's a woman, but we are talking about you giving a woman a position because she's capable, because she can handle it, because of the fact that also she has some extra qualities that could make her perform better in that position. So it's not that you are dashing them the position, but you are also you are allowing them, and we talk about allow now because of the societal issues that we talk about, you know, the factors that seem to inhibit women from occupying positions of authority. And you know, even these factors are, apart from being cultural, are also religious. So almost there in some religions, it's like when a woman comes out to put herself out there, it's seen as being too forward, and a lot of our religious dictates also believe that being coming out is not a sign of virtue. That quietness for a woman is a sign of virtue, and they are ready to quote some scriptures to you that be ordained with the virtue of meekness and a meek spirit, not speaking where men are talking and all of that. So when we have things like that, then we cannot be talking about giving preference to women in certain situations. Just it's going to help us to also go above some of these cultural, religious, and all sorts of inhibitions.
All right, so I've been speaking with Dr. Olabisi Deji-Folutile. I also have joining us live from Abuja, Hon Stella Okotetete, who's the APC National Woman Leader. We're going to take a short break now. When we return, we're going to talk more about the issues around women participation in politics, as well as open the phone lines for audience participation. Stay with us. We are back, and the phone lines are also open for your participation. Dr. Deji-Folutile, Honorable Okotetete, thank you so much for staying the course on the program. Honorable, talk to us very quickly about what informed the decision for the Women Conference. You mentioned that it's the first ever of its kind, and you're gathering women from across 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory at the instance of your party. What exactly do you aim to achieve with this?
We aim to achieve more visibility for our women. Like you rightly said, it's a pre-election year, and considering the barriers, the social and cultural barriers that women have faced, you know, before now, and some of the political issues we are having in terms of having more women, you know, represent us at all tiers of government. I thought it wise that we get ourselves ready and come out with one voice, do a diagnostics of why women are, you know, not so visible, you know, in terms of politics as well as, you know, party positions. And so with the diagnostic, there was need for us to change our strategy. There was need for us to, you know, start preparations on time. I think one of the reasons why we've had that itch, you know, of not having a lot of, you know, women is actually preparation. Like I said, the men are always ready, and being the fact that we are multitask, we can multitask and we can do a whole lot of things, you know, we tend to come on board at the tail end. And so while the men have been doing a lot, we just come at the tail end and expect them to, you know, give up their seats for us. So we just said, okay, let's start early. Let's identify those who will be running for elective positions now. And let's ensure that we're bringing out our best foods, making sure that they are well trained, they are well equipped, and, you know, bringing out the empathy in our personality so we can actually fix and, you know, represent our people at all, you know, at all levels. We're looking at, you know, increasing the numbers of women representing us at the state houses of assembly. We're also working hard to see that we have 108 women represent us at the National Assembly. So we'll be looking at all of these issues and we'll be addressing it. We have a keynote message that will be coming in from the current Vice President of Liberia. We have our First Lady, Our Excellency Dr. Aisha Buhari, come on to encourage us and speak to us and motivate us to actually key into the reality. There's a new normal. The pandemic has changed the entire world, and so the role of women right now cannot be overemphasized. We need more women in government. We need more women in leadership roles, to actually move, the country, move Africa to the next level. And it was Desmond Tutu, late Desmond Tutu, that said something very striking and very important. He said, if you want to see real developments, if you want to feel real developments, give the woman a leadership role. And so we'll be bringing to the fore empathy, sincerity of purpose, passion, and commitment, at the 2023 elections. And I'm sure Nigerians will embrace what the APC is about to do, bringing more women on board. I would definitely be out there to represent us and also support, the men, carry out more developmental roles and, push the nation to higher grounds.
So we've talked about some of the hindrances being faced by women, even educated ones who would want to venture into politics. There's the gender stereotypes, that assigns leadership naturally to men. There are issues of pay gaps and unpaid labor. And, the list is endless. You talked about the societal concerns earlier. Are you optimistic that 2023 is the year for the woman politically, from what you've seen as an insider? Are you quite optimistic that the numbers will rise this time? Yes,
I am. It's clear that the numbers will increase. We're starting early. We're identifying our strong foots. We're not coming from a point of weakness. No. We're changing the narrative. We're not looking at the barriers. Instead, we're preferring solutions to the barriers. We're not looking at the limitations. Instead, we're trying to build, bridges above the limitations. So we're doing a lot of consulting. We'll be doing a lot of lobbying, which is very important. Some of the countries you see today that you have women occupy positions, they had issues. They had maybe some came from the civil war, and there was imbalance in population and all of that. Considering our population strength, 200 million Nigerians, of which about 45% are women, we definitely need the men. So we're doing a lot of lobbying. We'll be doing a lot of consultation, and we'll definitely be meeting back our people, because we can't do it on our own. We also need the Nigerian populations. We need the Nigerian people to back us up, support us, and give us the opportunity to put our voice also and our foot on the map of transforming and supporting the development of our country, Nigeria. I'm sure the stereotypes will. It's something that we've all met. The country is 62 years old, and considering the religion and the cultural issues we have, this is the best time. This is the best time. 2023 is the best time for women to be given opportunities to actually, support the developmental roles of government. And I know my party, the All Progressives Congress, is ever ready, is completely ready to support women across board. But what we as women are ready to do now, because the platform is there, and they're ready to support us. So we as women have to be ready to come out in our numbers, speak with one voice, avoid the inter-women issues we usually have, and come out in our numbers. We have the numbers. Come out with our numbers, lobby our stakeholders, and I'm sure the numbers will increase. Like I told you, we're looking at 108 women at the National Assembly. We're also looking at above 35% across all state houses of assembly. It's doable. It's not so aggressive, and yes, we'll bring in all it takes to ensure that we have that number.
I wonder, Doctor, if you share her optimism. It's still quite early in the year, but we've seen quite a number of people who have shown interest to run. I'm yet to see a woman. Perhaps I am not very. Maybe I'm not hearing enough or something.
Okay. Well, you know, she's talking for our party, the All Progressives Party, and she's talking based on what the party is doing and what she thinks is likely to happen. But when we look at things from a general perspective, I do not really share in that optimism, because I've not really, like you rightly mentioned, I've not really seen too many women coming out, for example, to show interest. And for example, when last did we even have a female deputy governor? There was a time that at least it's like, okay, the role of a female deputy governor, let's reserve that for women. I even learned that some state governors decided to use women because they knew then that with women as their deputies, their positions are stable, and they are not likely to experience somebody trying to
usurp their
authority now. But we are not even seeing that anymore, and that is something we should be interrogating why. And even now, I've not also heard about any women even coming out. Maybe it's too early in the day, but I've not really heard. I also remember a female that attempted to be governor in Kogi State in the last in 2019. We are all aware of what she went through and all of that. I also remember the experience of Mrs. Obi Ezekwesili, that also attempted to be a presidential candidate, to the extent that, I mean, she had to give up almost to the close to the election season due to some kind of frustrations and all of that. So, and also the professor, what I can't remember her name now, the other
in PDP.
Yes, and that's also attempted. You know, the story has not been too palatable for women, and maybe I'm just thinking that probably because of these past issues, that is why our women are not coming out now. But if we look at the number of women coming out for now, I can't really express an optimism that we are going to experience something very fantastically different from what has been on ground. But I also want to say that it is also too early in the day to say that, because it's not as if electioneering has started in full force. But there are also issues of zoning, parties meeting, and like she rightly put it, you have to do a lot of consultations, you have to do a lot of lobbying. Maybe the women are still doing this at the background, and they are not yet out to actually express their interest, because they know that they need a lot of support before they can do that. Maybe that is what is happening. But going by what we see now, we've seen a lot of candidates declaring, especially in the All Progressive Congress, and so far so good. I've not heard of any female candidates coming out to say, I want to become the president of Nigeria or anything.
You know, the last time we had a female aspirant in one of the big parties, you know, during the primary, she had 0 votes, and I was wondering if why she did not vote for herself. You know, there's an issue with training, you know, networking, mentoring, particularly bringing younger women into partisan politics. Which system do you think has that responsibility to provide that leverage and that bridge, you know, to bring more women on board?
I think it's going to be multi-dimensional. As for the woman, she actually voted for herself.
She had 1 vote.
She had 1 vote. Even her campaign manager didn't vote for her. So you can imagine that level of disappointment. I think the NGOs, they should perform this role. And also, I think the political parties, like what the APC is championing through the explanation of the
The woman leader.
The woman in the studio. I think it's a very good development. Female politicians themselves also should put out programs to also mentor women and the younger ones and teach them on how to go for political positions. Aside that, I also think our institutions of learning should also put into their include in their curriculum the role of women in politics. Maybe because it's not as if women have not been participating even in governance. For example, even before the colonial era, we hear stories of Queen Amina of Zaria, for example. We saw how she built walls around Zaria and defended the city, even up to Bauchi. We heard about stories of Moremi in Ife, for example, and a lot of other women. Of course, we heard about Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, appointed to the House of Chiefs in the colonial era. We know about EPO and the rest of them. Now, so it's not as if women have been laid back totally. I am thinking that the role that women should be playing now should even be bigger than what these people did, even pre-colonial era or during the colonial era. And I think that the challenge for us is to actually let women know that they are capable and they can do it, and to also maybe in such mentoring programs we can bring in cases of female leaders across the world. We know that there are so many young versatile female leaders across the world these days that we can actually showcase to encourage women folk, the younger generations to go into politics and assume positions of authority. So I think we shouldn't just leave it to political parties alone. We should extend this to institutions, the societies, the NGOs, and all of that. We should all work together in mentoring women. Yeah.
Honorable, let's talk about women supporting women. What programs do you have at integrating younger women into partisan politics, and what exactly are your requests from the current government in that regard?
Okay, I want to correct or I want to make it clear for our viewers, because information is key and is far. Under the APC, we have 2 deputy governors, one in the north and one in the south. The current deputy governor of Kaduna State is a woman, very active woman in politics under the APC. We also have the current deputy governor in Ogun State. I'm sure in terms of numbers, the APC is actually one of the parties in Africa currently that has created new solutions to the issues that women have faced. The APC is also one party that has also supported women in terms of our policies and our agenda. We've actually carried out and rolled out a whole lot of programs that have empowered our women across board. So the issues of us not coming out now is something that is strange to me, because on Tuesday, the APC women across the 36 states are gathering in our numbers to review what is already on board. And definitely from the outcome of this gathering, we'll see the numbers of women that will be coming out for elective positions. Behind the scene, we've also identified these women across the states. And so the issues that we've always pondered on, we've always complained, or we come from a position of weakness on, we already know that. And so we've already proposed solutions on all of these issues. And so when you're talking about what are we doing to support, your question now, what are we doing now to support the younger generation? I told you, and I'll repeat it again, that the APC is the only party in Nigeria currently across board that has a platform for young women where leadership, mentoring, and entrepreneurial empowerment programs are being run to support our younger women. I'm also a product of the APC. The APC is the only party in Nigeria that was opportune to give a woman my age to also represent women, you know, at the party level. So the APC has broken that barrier. The APC has broken the ceiling in terms of encouraging young women in government and in party positions. I remember under the APC, I was appointed the executive director of one of the government agencies at an age that, you know, was mind-blowing and mouth-dropping for people. You know, so the APC is actually a platform that encourages young women participation in politics. I'm a living example, so you're not going too far to look at, look for evidence. And I'm just one out of a whole lot. We have more women in the APC, over 42 of us who are, you know, under 40, that have been appointed under the APC across, you know, the federal level. If you go down to the states, we have over 120, you know, across that I have just identified, you know, that are already occupying positions. So the platform, the Young Progressive Women platform, you know, is across the 36 states. We already have structures from all wards of the country, across the wards and the local government level. We have leaders across all of these positions because it's very important. I started politics as a councillor, and you know, so when you start them very early, when you train them very early, when they get up the ladder, we'll have more numbers. And so that's what we're working towards. So right now we have a platform that is bridging that gap between the old and the young women in politics. We also have a platform that is educating them because we don't just want them to join politics. Women have always been in politics. Women are the highest voters in political elections. Women are the ones who guide the votes during elections. So we are always there. But what role are we playing beyond that? And so that's what the platform is doing. And that's why we're changing strategy. And we're sure, I'm not just making the numbers. I'm not just talking from a point of, you know, assumptions. I sit as a member of the Critical Committee of the All Progressives Congress. I meet with the stakeholders as much as possible. I interact with them. And they are willing and ready to support the women of the All Progressives Congress if we come out in our numbers. And so that's why we're coming out next week, to speak with one voice, analyze things, come up with a final position on what we want. And I can tell you that yes, in no time soon, you see us with our posters when INEC gives us the time to, you know, come out and do our campaigns. Like I said, we are consulting, and we're consulting very far and wide. And the response we are getting is very encouraging. And so if people are looking for a platform, if women are looking for a platform to actually, you know, come out and serve, because for us, it's all about service. And we're not coming in to, you know, to be bossy or, you know, to get the men behind us. No, we're coming to serve, we're coming to develop, we're coming to add our own voice, add our strength, you know, to see that our country, you know, works. Is our country. We have no other country beyond Nigeria. And so the progressive women are coming out. We are coming out. And in fact, we're already out. So you'll be hearing from us next week. With one voice, we're uniting for progress.
Well, looking forward to see all of that words also matched with action. We are coasting home now, and I'd like us to just touch briefly on how to solve the problems of representation. Last year was a good year for women in the banking sector. We saw some of the female bankers heading their own, you know, financial institutions. And there are people who have also said that perhaps to get more women involved, they have to start from the grassroots. You know, there are many upwardly mobile individuals who want to run, but perhaps their ambitions is just bigger than what they can achieve. They say every politics is local. Perhaps, you know, she mentioned that she started as a councillor. Great place to start. But if you want to venture into politics and then you're eyeing presidency, I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to work. So what are your thoughts about, you know, as we begin to wrap up, how do we solve this problem of representation?
I think it should start from the local level. Just like she mentioned, I think this idea of thinking that you want to go to, you want to start from the top should be discouraged. Even for men, not just women alone, but because we are talking about women here, I think all these former members of student unions and the rest, all these young women that are politically inclined, should first of all join political parties, because politics is not done on Twitter, Facebook, or in the social media, which is what we see a lot these days. the starting point is for women to join politics. And as they join, let them start from the local level, from the ward level. And as they make themselves to be recognized at that ward level, they may progress to the local government, even if they are able to occupy more positions at the local government level. It is also going to help them to probably get into the state houses of assembly, and from the houses of assembly they can also make progress to the House of Assembly, to the Senate, and becoming even a governor or vice president or the president. I think by now we should, and the people that are already there should also go beyond looking at positions such as deputy governors now. I think we've been on that route for quite too long. We are 62 years old. We still talk about women, the highest position being a deputy governor. I think, and how many of them, maybe at any point in time, we don't have more than 2 or 3. I can't even remember if we ever had 3 get into that position. Those who are already experienced politicians now should also encourage themselves. They should, with one voice, put up a candidate or candidates for that governorship position. It's not a big deal. They too can, especially those in already recognized political parties, not all these parties that are too low, that you know that even if a female comes out to be the governor, you are sure of the results even before the election is held. I think the major political parties should also focus on looking for qualified and capable females among them and push them forward. Absolutely. At least to the position of governorship.
We have to go now. Ladies, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a great week. I've spoken with 3 ladies in just 1 week. I feel like this is the year for the woman. Dr. Olabisi Deji-Folutile, journalist, editor-in-chief, franktalknow.com. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the program. Honorable Stella Okotetete joins us live from our Abuja studio. She's the national woman leader of the APC. Did I mention also that she's the executive director of business development, Nigerian Export-Import Bank, Nexi. Thank you so much, Honorable, for sharing your thoughts with us, and we wish you all the best with the Women Conference next week. We're looking forward to the resolutions that you will make. We have to go now. Thank you for watching. Apologies, the phones did not work today, but we'll make them work next week. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Have a great weekend.